Two of the best teams in the country aren't moving forward, us in North Dakota.
We'll have that chip on our shoulder. Feels like a different year, a new, fresh team, a team that's excited to be here and just taking it one day at a time.
You think that you'll know me good?
Chance for Mietman, busting in.
I always advance, say how I fail, you know I stand. Raising the bar, I got it.
Walker walking right in, walks around Messi,
scores! Shoot for the stars, they fall in my hand. Stick to my guns, I don't
really tremendous save by Reddick.
I rarely miss, you know I'm relentless. Ain't got a choice, no way to prevent it. Just who I am, and now
Doing the rush over to Mietman.
What a play, what a goal! Oh my God, I'm happy I did it. Beat all the odds, I ain't got no limits. Can it be stopped? You paying attention? I ain't gotta say it. They know where my head is. They know where my head is.
Hello and welcome Huskies fans into another special edition of Husky Faceoff powered by the SCSU Alumni Association. I'm Sam Getzinger here to catch you up on everything you need to know about the upcoming Frozen Four matchup against Minnesota State Mankato. The Huskies are coming off a beatdown of the teams from Beantown over in the Northeast Regional in Albany, New York. In the first period of the NCAA tournament for both sides, goaltending was stout, not allowing any offensive action to materialize. But over in the second, Boston University tallied the game's first goal just 8 seconds into the frame. 12 minutes later, Micah Miller was able to tie things up with one of the wildest goals you'll ever see in hockey history. Sitting under a pop fly served up from Nolan Walker and then sniping it past a number of Terriers who were confused about where the puck was, and as was everybody watching at home. The floodgates would open up from there as 3 goals would be put on the board in the next 2.5 minutes. A 3-goal second would duplicate into a 3-goal third, where the Huskies put away number 3 seed Boston University handedly with a final score of 6-2 in the Northeast Regional quarterfinal. The next day, SCSU would take on the number 1 seed in the region and second-ranked team in the country in the Boston College Eagles. Like Game 1, the Huskies would start in a hole as now Wild signee Matthew Boldy opened things up in the first period. From there, the Huskies exploded for another demanding second period, putting up 3 goals in the period, thanks to seniors Luke Jaycox, Will Hammer, and junior Nolan Walker. From there, the Huskies were one more period away from punching their ticket to the school's second Frozen Four. Micah Miller notched an empty net goal to seal the deal, and the Huskies strolled into Pittsburgh with a 4-1 win in the Northeast Regional Final. Now that we've entered the Frozen Four, let's take a look at who else will be joining us over in Pittsburgh. From the Midwest Regional, the back-to-back defending national champions make another trip to familiar territory after knocking off the number 1 overall seed North Dakota in 5 overtimes. Over in Bridgeport, number 2 UMass advances to the Frozen Four after taking down Lake Superior State and upset-minded Bemidji State after their big win against the number 1 seed in that region, Wisconsin. So the Minutemen will meet the Bulldogs in the first semifinal matchup. Over in Loveland, Colorado, the Minnesota State Mankato Mavericks had to face adversity early in their tournament run with a come-from-behind overtime win against Quinnipiac. They would go on to beat down on the Golden Gophers rather handedly in the regional final, and that completes the Frozen Four bracket as they will take on St. Cloud State in Pittsburgh coming up a little bit later on. Now the Husky hockey program may not have a lot of experience in the Frozen Four, but luckily one man on their bench does. Here's Nick Speliopoulos with more.
As we seek our first national title. On behalf of Huskies Athletics, I couldn't be more excited to introduce the St. Cloud State community to our next men's hockey coach, Brett Larson.
Coach Brett Larson has brought experience and a Frozen Four formula to St. Cloud State University.
I think you see a lot of the similarities with Duluth and that program. Obviously, he's had a lot of success at this point and getting our team into the Frozen Four now, so he's obviously done a heck of a job.
Larson won 2 national championships with Duluth before taking his first collegiate head coaching position.
Oh, he's a great pedigree. He's won 2 national championships. I just heard a lot of great things about him, and it's proven to be true. I think he's just a stand-up guy.
Some coaches use authority, others X's and O's. Brett Larson coaches his players with respect and confidence.
If you know that your coach truly cares about you, not just hockey-wise, but outside the rink in your life and life skills, it pays off. And players enjoy playing for a coach that cares about them on more than just a hockey level.
I think probably the greatest coach I've ever had. I mean, there's a lot of things he's taught me. He trusts me a lot, which, gives you confidence on the ice, off the ice. Just a great person.
Coach Larson cares about his players, and at times, his actions have spoken louder than his words.
They hired Larson within a day or two of his hiring. He drove down to Elk River to meet with my parents, so that meant a lot to me, just to show that he cared. And then like a day or two later, he drove all the way down to Omaha from Duluth, just to take me out to Chipotle.
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean, he not only knows his stuff as a hockey coach, obviously, but every day he just preaches not only to be a good person, but just to any life skills or life advice, and he's always there for someone if they need to talk.
I mean, I really think it's the connection that he has with the players. He's really fighting for us not only on the ice but off the ice as well, whether that's scheduling or just in our daily lives. It always feels like he has our back, and I think in return then we have his back.
With a season full of adversity, it might just be what Coach Larson wanted when he laid it out nearly 3 years ago in his introductory press conference.
Going through some bumps through the season, learning how to handle those bumps. I think you have to have some adversity during the season. I haven't been part of too many where everything goes great, and then all of a sudden it's easy at the end. I think those bumps help you for what's going to come. It's getting the right players, the right kids, all in it together, knowing that they do anything for each other.
In a year like 2020, adversity has defined us all. For Coach Larson, the taste of victory will be even sweeter.
It just means so much to get here because of that. They fought through all that, and now we're hoping it's all worth it.
As you heard, this isn't Brett Larson's first rodeo to college hockey's grandest stage, but it is his first as a head coach. Now, back in his days over with Minnesota Duluth as an assistant coach, the Bulldogs won national titles in 2011 and 2018 and finished second in 2017. But in between those 2 national title runs, he was an assistant coach over at Ohio State from 2013 to 2015, where he recruited a vast majority of that roster that went on to reach the Frozen Four in 2018. It's been 8 years since the last time SCSU mustered a trip to the Frozen Four, and now we welcome back in Nick Speliopoulos to this edition of Husky Faceoff to shed more light on the similarities of this year's team to the Husky squad that made a run back in 2013. Nick, take it away.
Thanks, Sam. Something special about the Steel City as St. Cloud State makes a return to Pittsburgh, the same city where the 2013 Huskies made their Frozen Four run. Taking a look at the statistical comparison between these two teams heading into the Frozen Four back in 2013, Huskies posting a 25-15-1 overall record. They finished the regular season tied first with Minnesota, but lost in the semifinals against the University of Wisconsin. In 2013, the Huskies offense averaged 3.4 goals per game, and looking at the goaltender, Ryan Farragher, his personal record 24-14-1, goals against average 2.28, and posting a 91.4 save percentage. Bringing it back to the present time, heading into the Frozen Four, Huskies record 19-10-0. They finished second in the regular season within the NCAA, but lost to the University of North Dakota in the Frozen Faceoff Championship. Similar goals per game, just 1/10 away from 2013. 3.3 goals per game for this year's Huskies squad. And David Rennick, the star goaltender for the Huskies this season, he's had a 16-9-0 record, 2.51 goals against, and an even 91 save percentage. Here's assistant coach Nick Oliver on the similarities of the team he coaches this season and the team he played for in 2013.
I think the biggest thing is just how close the two teams were. Back in 2013, we were a 4 seed that just snuck into the NCAA tournament and had to knock off Notre Dame and Miami, two top powers in college hockey at that point. And for us this past weekend, it was no different. But the teams are close, and they love each other, and they play for each other, and they're committed to doing whatever it takes to get that end result. So yeah, it's pretty cool that it's right back full circle in Pittsburgh.
Now, for the Huskies' second appearance in the Frozen Four, they aim for their first national championship inside PPG Paints Arena. Sam, back to you.
Hey, thank you very much, Nick. We'll take a break here on Husky Faceoff, powered by the SCSU Alumni Association. When we come back, some special guests will join us. That's coming up next.
Husky hockey fans, check out the Huskies app's digital programs. Here you can find game day programs, rosters, line charts, and access to game day trivia. Make sure you have the inside edge with the Huskies digital program.
Welcome back into this Frozen Four edition of Husky Faceoff, powered by the SCSU Alumni Association. I'm Sam Getzinger, helping you get up to date in advance of the SCSU semifinal matchup against Minnesota State Mankato over in Pittsburgh. We want to take this time and thank all of our Husky faithful and alumni of St. Cloud State for their continued support of Husky hockey and the coverage that comes along with it that has taken place all year long. All of this could not be done without the help and support from our alumni of St. Cloud State. Well, Huskies fans, it is now time for our first giveaway of the show, and all you need to do to enter is hop over to the SCSU Men's Hockey Twitter page, interact with the latest giveaway tweet, and boom, you're in, good to go, and you have a chance to win some sweet SCSU gear. Now, Huskies fans, it's been a little while since you've seen these two guys on your TVs covering SCSU hockey. Let's welcome in Jim Rich and Pat Micheletti to this special edition of Husky Faceoff. Fellas, go ahead, take it away.
All right, thanks very much, Sammy. And this is pretty remarkable. Pat Micheletti, former All-America, joins us now. You've been to Frozen Fours in the past, but to have three schools from the state of Minnesota in a Frozen Four, it's remarkable. It says a lot about where college hockey is in this state.
Herb Brooks is looking down right now and smiling. You know, it truly is remarkable. And a lot of the praise should go to the coaches, the parents, the players. You know, we developed so many kids in this state, and you know, it's a tip of the hat for sure.
All right, let's get into the matchup. It's the Huskies against Minnesota State Mankato. They know each other. They've played each other in the past, and obviously the coaching staffs are very familiar with themselves. What about the job Mike Hastings has done down there in Mankato?
Well, you know, you just look at his teams, and you know, they finally win one, right? They were 0-6 going into this, so they get that monkey off their back. But you know, they have their niche, and I think what every coach in the state has done has created their own niche of recruiting, and they get the players that fit their mold. And Mike's done a terrific job there, and you know, they're a veteran team. They're older. They play within the system, and it's been a great story.
Speaking of great stories, the most remarkable has to be their goaltender, Dryden McKay. I mean, you name your son Dryden, you're expecting great things from your child, and Dryden certainly has done that.
Well, can you imagine? I mean, we're talking about a kid who is 2, if he shuts out St. Cloud and shuts out the championship game, will tie Ryan Miller, right?
Yes.
Ryan Miller.
Yes.
The goalie for the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, who has been, you know, just the #1 goalie for USA Hockey for years. And he would break it or tie his record for the most shutouts in his career with, I think it's 24, 26, something like that. But, you know, he's a great kid. He's a great goaltender, and he's going to pose a problem for St. Cloud.
Yeah, and it's not just McKay, though. There
No.
is also a great blue line core that Mike Hastings has assembled.
Well, bloodlines, right? You have one of the Zamolics, his father played at the University of Minnesota, #1 pick with the Dallas Minnesota North Stars, and then moved to Dallas. But they're again, they've got the veteran presence back there, and they play within what Mike Hastings sets out for them to do, and keep it real simple and real smart.
And we talked about, obviously, the goaltending for Minnesota State. That's obviously been a real key for them this year. But you look at St. Cloud's goaltending. All of a sudden, David Rennick, we have asked for him to take control of that net.
Yep.
That is your cage. You dominate. You own this. And he certainly played like that against Boston University and Boston College.
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about it all year doing the games. And, how far can this team go? Well, our answer was as far as David Rennick takes him, right?
Yep.
And he's in his 4th year now. He's been through it. He has the experience, and he was great. He was great last weekend, and a major reason why that they made it to the Frozen Four.
All right, let's take a look at the keys to the game presented by St. Cloud Subaru. And first for St. Cloud, Pat, it's all about dictating the pace.
Yeah.
Why is that so important?
Well, you just watch Minnesota State against Minnesota. Minnesota probably the faster team, a team similar to St. Cloud. They like to get up and down the ice, and they weren't able to do that. Hence, it played right into the hands of Minnesota State. St. Cloud, for them to be effective, and they have to get all 4 lines rolling. They've got a lot of speed up front, probably one of the fastest teams in the country, and they've got to dictate that pace and control how the game is being played.
And number 2, it's all about offense from the back end. You feel that those guys really have to be a part of this.
Well, part of that, it kind of goes in sync with dictating the pace. It's for those guys to get active, join the rush. Don't make it a 2-on-3 or a 1 against 3. You've got to get 4 guys involved. That's a defenseman jumping up in the play and really make Minnesota State uncomfortable and get them out of position. Hence, you will create the opportunities on the offensive end.
All right, and for the Mavericks, defend, defend, defend.
Yeah,
That's what you say.
They would love to see this game as boring as it can be. And what do they do well? They do defend well, and they do protect their goaltender. And that's also aided in Dryden McKay's success because they feel, if they can only give up that first shot, McKay's going to stop it, and they'll clear out the rebounds and get the puck out of the zone. And, they want to keep the game as boring as possible, get St. Cloud out of their element and kind of dictate that slow pace.
And really, I mean, you always hear Coach Larson talk about first team to 3 is going to be the one that wins. This could be the first one 2-1.
Yeah.
Because whoever gets that first goal, I think is really going to have an advantage because then you're pulling Minnesota State out of their game. They have to press. They have to change things. And that may give St. Cloud State even more chances.
Oh, I agree 100%. Listen, I think the first goal of the game is going to be really, really important because that'll change the mindset. However, St. Cloud did get behind against Boston College in that, and BU for that fact.
Correct.
In both games, and they stuck with their plan. That showed that they didn't panic at all, and Brett kept them going on the bench, and they came out firing away. So, but for St. Cloud to get that first one really will make Mankato think a little bit and change their game a little bit.
Well, Sammy, that'll do it for us. I'm going to let Pat get back to his golf cart.
We
interrupted him.
Sammy,
he was on the
what
back
are you
nine.
doing? I wanted to play golf today. What are you thinking? I mean, you never call me. You don't text me. What's going on, Sam? I miss you. Hope you're well.
Pat, I'm not going to lie. I've missed your nonsense over the past couple of months. Jim, Pat, always a pleasure to have you guys. Thanks for shedding some more light on SCSU hockey right here on Husky Faceoff. Welcome back into the studio as we get closer and closer to the anticipated Frozen Four matchup between SCSU and Minnesota State Mankato over in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Again, we want to take this time and thank all of our Husky faithful and alumni of St. Cloud State for all of their continued support of Husky hockey and the coverage that comes along with it throughout the year. All of this could not be done without the help and support from our alumni of St. Cloud State University. Well, Huskies fans, it's time once again for another giveaway on the show. And all you need to do, remember, is hop over to the SCSU Men's Hockey Twitter page, interact with the latest giveaway tweet, and boom, you're entered for your chance to win some sweet SCSU gear. We now welcome in Matt Andrews from the University Foundation here on this special edition of Husky Faceoff, powered by the SCSU Alumni Association. Mr. Andrews, thank you so much for joining us. Can you fill in the viewers at home as to what the University Foundation is?
So I like to think of the St. Cloud State University Foundation really as the university's strategic philanthropic partner. And in doing so, if we think about it in that way, we start first with a recognition or understanding that the state can no longer really be expected to meet all of the needs of the institution, be it in investment in infrastructure or its academic programs or its athletics teams. So there's a real growing necessity for an increasingly stronger philanthropic presence on this campus. And the foundation is the organization that effectively works with the university and its leadership, including that of athletics, to really advance that culture where we raise increasingly more dollars for all our required needs on this campus. And I think the vision that the president has laid out is going to require substantial philanthropic support. So the foundation is that strategic philanthropic partner that helps the institution realize its vision and helps drive us forward. And it's a very necessary component in the way in which we fund our university.
Matt, let's bring the focus to the hockey programs here at SCSU. What goal does the foundation have for the Huskies moving forward?
So, we're shooting this interview in the Herb Brooks National Hockey Center, which was completed in 2013. Total cost was about $17.8 million. About $8.8 million of that was raised through private charitable contributions from many people in this community and many of our leading corporations. And there's recognition for them throughout this center. But the need doesn't stop there. And you have a large physical plant here like the Herb Brooks National Hockey Center. We have an expectation and really an obligation to our fans and to our program to continue to invest in this program. In the next priority that we have is really going into our bowl and improving the quality of the sound experience that fans and players alike expect. And the other part is we have scoreboards which are end of life, and technology has leapt since they were last installed. So it's really about improving and upgrading the visual experience for our fans through upgraded digital scoreboards and other digital communication screens within the center, and a much improved audio experience through acoustical engineering and treatment and sound. So I really hope when we return to normal play here in the not too distant future, our fans will be greeted by a completely different experience. And that's going to have to come from private fundraising. Again, the state isn't prioritizing this kind of investment in athletics and the arts. And so we have to step up. And that means our community and our donors who value and love this sport and what it means to St. Cloud State are stepping up and have to step up as well.
Well, again, thank you for taking some time today and informing us on the financial side of St. Cloud State University.
Thank you. It's been great to talk with you today, and I really appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about philanthropy and the important role it plays in advancing athletics here at St. Cloud State. We appreciate it.
Once again, a big thank you to Matt Andrews with the University Foundation for joining us here on Husky Faceoff as we gear up for the Frozen Four matchup against Minnesota State Mankato. Again, coverage of St. Cloud State hockey could not be made possible without the support of our alumni and, of course, all of Husky faithful. If you would like to support St. Cloud State, it's pretty easy. Go to the SCSU homepage on the top, click the link to support St. Cloud State, and from there, select the Make a Gift tab to fully give your support to the university. Let's dive into this matchup between the Huskies and the Mavericks. These two teams, separated by I-94, were heated rivals back in the old WCHA days. Over the years, there have been 53 games played, and the Cardinal and Black hold a series record of 29, 18, and 6. Both teams most recently met last year over at Mariucci Arena. St. Cloud State dominated that matchup with a 7-2 win, in big part to a 4-goal performance by then freshman Zach Okabe. One stat to keep in mind as we head into the first Frozen Four matchup of the year are the Huskies this season 10-3 overall when striking first against their opponents, who for the most part this year have been NCHC teams. In the NCAA tournament, the Cardinal and Black are 4-3 when scoring first. Both teams are going to be well prepared heading into today's matchup. That's because both teams have some veteran coaches behind the bench. We touched on head coach Brett Larson earlier in the show, making his first appearance as a head coach. But again, he is no stranger to the big stage after winning the national title twice with Minnesota Duluth as an assistant in 2011 and 2018. The Mavericks are led by Mike Hastings, who has been with the program since 2012 and has helped the Mavericks to 5 McNaughton Cups in the WCHA and has collected over 200 wins as the Minnesota State bench boss. Now the Huskies will be missing one key part to their offense heading into the Frozen Four. Senior Easton Brodzinski went down early in the second period against Boston College after a scary open ice collision. Now Easton was helped off the ice and did not return. Now that leaves a rather large hole to fill for the Huskies moving forward. Coach Larson has indicated that freshman Joe Molinar will go back into the lineup to help add some offensive pressure in the absence of Easton Brodzinski. The native of Minnetonka has appeared in 10 games, collecting 3 assists throughout the season. Molinar was taken out of the lineup when Kyler Kupka returned back from injury. Coach Larson has much faith he will be able to fill into the lineup and help produce right away during the upcoming Frozen Four matchup with Mankato. The Huskies will also look to Jami Kradala to continue his hot hand on offense. The sophomore from Nokia, Finland, has been one of the team's leading scorers with 23 points on the year. He pushed his goal tally to 11 after rifling a penalty shot goal in the region opener against Boston University. A side note heading into this matchup with Mankato, the Huskies are 9-1 on the year when Jami puts one in the back of the net.
Well, number one, you're playing a great hockey team who's really well coached. They've been one of the best in the country for a few years. I think we go in with that little bit of an underdog role again. They were picked very high in the country at the beginning of the year. We weren't even mentioned in the top 20. We'll have that chip on our shoulder. They defend really well. They've got a great goalie. Their structure's really good. They compete hard. We need to match that compete level. We had a high compete level against BU, BC. We're going to need to take it up another step from there. We're going to need to make life difficult on their goaltender. We can't be perimeter. We're going to have to get to the paint. We're going to have to get to the hard areas, make it uncomfortable on him if we have a chance to score. And we're going to have to trust in Husky hockey and the way we play, and we're going to have to obviously have our best 60 minutes of the year.
That'll wrap up this special edition of Husky Faceoff, powered by the SCSU Alumni Association. We're moments away from puck drop between Minnesota State, Mankato, and St. Cloud State. We'll see if they can pick up their first national title in school history.
Anytime you play big name, big time college programs, you want to knock the big boys off. You're playing a great hockey team who's really well coached, and we're going to have to trust in Husky hockey and the way we play, and we have to have our best 60 minutes of the year. We didn't feel many people were giving us a chance, and we wanted to prove people wrong. They fought through all that, and now we're hoping it's all worth it.